of my 14 days juice and parasite cleanse is done. Whew! A lot of learnings today actually. So I'm gonna tell you, walk you step by step what I did today. So first of all, if you're doing a parasite cleanse as well as the juice cleanse, you want to do the your parasite cleanse first thing before you drink the juices. So I talked to you before about wormwood. So this is wormwood. It's I think written in German, but so this is Wermutkraut. So I think how it's called in Germany. But basically, this is wormwood herb that is kind of split a bit. The texture is kind of like shredded, dried herb, if you like. So yeah, so I put 1 teaspoon of this, 1 teaspoon of black walnut hull powder as well, and 1 teaspoon of cloves, because I've read somewhere that cloves can kill a different stage of the parasites, like the eggs. So apparently between the three, those two and the cloves, they can kind of eliminate all the stages of the parasites. But when I combined all three, so I've put a teaspoon of each using a wooden spoon, because then I was also using the same spoon for the clay. So for the herbs it's fine, you don't need to use wooden spoon, but yeah, then I also added into my cup where I've poured boiling water on a teaspoon of 3 of these herbs, right? I let it steep in my percolator for 20 minutes, and then I've strained it, I poured it into my cup, and I added 1 teaspoon of clay, and what ended up being like a really thick, dark liquid. And oh my word, was it bitter. It was just undrinkable. It was just like, ugh, just the most horrible, awful thing you can imagine. It's just like, oh, like really kind of, oh, and there was like also like the strength, like some kind of like not pepperiness, but like some kind of spice, and that seems to be cloves actually. It was like, oh, like really revolting. I'm sorry, but it just was so horrible. So what I've realized then, I spoke to the lady that's actually walking me through this cleanse, because she's done it so many times, and also she's led so many people through this over the years. She said she only recommends doing the wormwood and the black walnut. So the two that I showed you, she only recommends doing those two herbs and not clove. She said clove is more to do for the gums and teeth health and things like that, so she wouldn't recommend using that. So I think tomorrow I'll do just the 1 teaspoon of each of those two, and see if it's any better. And also what I found helped me to drink that rank stuff, I'm sorry, was really bad. So I've divided it into kind of 3 portions. So it was like a cup about, I don't know, 400 mils or something, or even maybe 500 mils I had, right? So it was a lot of that black liquid. So I then divided into 3, and then I poured some hot water on it, and I drank it that way. So it kind of diluted it a bit, and that kind of made it a little bit more drinkable. So I managed to drink that maybe in the 2 or 3 hours, over the morning. I managed to kind of nurse it and finish it. And anything, the juice that I drank after it was like just the nectar of gods, because it was not bitter anymore, and had a little bit of sweetness, and it was actually nice. But that stuff is just, oh. So yeah, so do 1 teaspoon of each of those 2 herbs with hot water, pour it boiling, let it sit for 20 minutes, sieve it out, and then you can, maybe divide it into 2 portions and add a bit of water, or actually you can pour a bit of that with the herbal tea that you like. And for me, the clay, I found that actually it's better for me to just put in a little bit of warm water, Swill it round and quickly just drink it, you know, not to kind of drag it out over cups and cups of tea mixed with those tinctures of you know, kind of parasites. So yeah, so I think tomorrow what I'll do, I'll just drink clay in a little bit of warm water, just down it, maybe half a cup or something, down that, and then I'll drink that, you know, stuff with just the two herbs, um, and you know, maybe have it in between with my herbal teas, or add a little bit of that into the herbal tea to make it a little bit more palatable. So yeah, so anyway, so that's the hardest bit, I think, because there's going to be 10 days of this parasite cleanse, so I'll be doing these two herbs for 10 days, and then the juice cleanse overall will be 14 days. So let me talk to you about the juicing. So I made 3 juices today. So first one was the usual that I kind of made for a few days beforehand. So it was half a cucumber, maybe about 4 or 5 celery sticks, um, 3 kale leaves, so Cavolo Nero, sorry, Cavolo Nero, but any kale, you know, would do. So kale, and then I put half an apple, and I think that was it. So yeah, so that was the first juice, the greens juice with the kale. The second juice, I did 2 carrots, again about, you know, 4 or 5 celery sticks, half of a cucumber, and I added 2 bits of ginger like this, right? Because they were like seemed small enough, and I added them. Oh my goodness, it had like a bit of heat to it, that second juice. So I think I'll only put 1 little bit of ginger next time, because it definitely comes through in the juice. Right, so yeah, so I did that one. So 2 carrots, ginger, um, celery and cucumber, right? And then the third juice I just made in the evening when I got back. So I made 2 juices in the morning. I mean, you could do all three, make all three for the day, and you have only to clean the and do the juicer only once, because you know, it is a bit of a labor intensive, because you have to, you know, cut your vegetables into smaller pieces, because like the shoot is only that's kind of big, you know, so you can't put like half an apple or whole, you know, fruits. So even like the cucumber, I had to slice into like quarters and, you know, kind of feed it through. And celery, I cut it into smaller bits, so it doesn't kind of, you know, get like stringy or anything like the long things. So yeah, so anyway, so it takes a little bit while to kind of prepare all the veggies, and then to do it, and then to wash everything, because with the juicer, so my slow juicer that I got from Amaze Chef is working quite well. So it's masticating slow juicer. So I mainly do it on like a hard setting. So there's like a soft and hard setting. So I do it on a hard setting, because there's a lot of kind of celery and apple and like harder things like kale. So I just go first with the hard setting, and then, you know, once I've gone through it, what I do, I put the pulp back in and then put it on soft and squeeze more out. So I get about an extra 50-70 ml, you know, re-squeezing stuff, because obviously the pulp initially is a little bit wet, because especially of cucumbers, you know, doesn't quite squeeze all of it out. So when I go through it second time, it gets like quite dry, the pulp. So yeah, so I get as most juice as possible. So yeah, so each of those juices that I've mentioned did about maybe 400 ml of juice, 4 to 500 or 450 kind of mill juice. So those two, and then the third one I did in the evening was 2 little beetroots, you know, again 4 or 5 sticks of celery, half a cucumber, and half an apple I used. So yeah, so that was like the last red juice. Yeah, and they were all delicious actually, all 3 juices, except that, you know, the one with the ginger had a little bit too much heat for me, so less ginger, so learning curve. But yeah, I didn't feel hungry as such. I mean, when my husband was eating dinner, I could smell the aromas. It's like, oh, I really fancy something like a savory meal, something cooked. I did have that little bit, but I, like, personally, myself, my stomach wasn't grumbling. I wasn't hungry. So yeah, so that wasn't hard because you can drink as much juice as you need. So even if you need 3 or 4 juices, you can make that and drink it, right? So it's not limited from what I understand. How many juices you can drink. It's just kind of limited of what you put in there, so you don't make it too sweet. So I've asked the lady that's walking me through it whether I can make um tomato and cucumber juice, because I think celery, tomato and cucumber, or just tomato and celery juice, I think would be so delicious, like a savory kind of juice. So hopefully I can, fingers crossed, I can use tomatoes in this cleanse, to kind of switch it up and have like a more savory option. But yeah, I'm not using much sweetness at all. I'm just adding half an apple to each of the juices, um, and then I've got pears as well. So I might switch it up. Do a pear sometime. But yeah, so that's how it's gone today. And tonight, right? I'm gonna be making a castor oil compress. So basically what that does, it helps. So I've got like a little plastic sheet. I just had like a plastic bag, and I've kind of opened it up, and so I'll soak like cotton pad, or if you have wool, apparently best is kind of with wool, but I haven't got wool. So I've got like a cotton pad thing. So I'll sew cotton pad, and you're supposed to put it actually on your right hand side, just under your chest, because this is kind of where your liver sits, just under your diaphragm. So liver and gallbladder, and also a bit of colon. So I'll probably just kind of end up putting all over there on this side, on the right hand side. So I'll put the castor oil on the patch. I'll put it on, put this plastic sheet on, to kind of prevent it leaking onto the bedding and stuff, because I'll be wearing it in bed when I go to bed to sleep. So I'll put that on, and then I'll put a towel on, and then you put like a warm water bottle, so it kind of heats the area and helps the castor oil to penetrate through the skin and do the detox. So castor oil is like a great detox for the liver. It kind of goes in and does the detoxing that way. So yeah, so I'll be doing that every night. Supposedly that's the kind of the protocol for this cleanse. It really helps. And then on days 3, 4 and 5 I'll have to do enemas. So I'll probably do water enemas, like warm water enemas, to start with, and then I might see, I might do the other ones like 9, 10 and 11. I think towards the end there's another 3 days of enemas. I might do coffee enemas, we'll see, but I might just stick to water this time, because coffee enemas, specific coffee, it has to be like specific coffee. I forgot the name now, what the actual specific name of it, but it's specifically for enemas, right? So that kind of roast is kind of medicinally made, and then that apparently detoxes the liver, and draws out even more impurities that way. So we'll see. But yeah, so that is my day 1. So good, all in all, some learning experiences, kind of you learn, adjust and move forward. So yeah, not too much ginger in my juices next time. Just 1 little piece, not 2. And then I'll just use 2 herbs rather than 3. I'll leave the cloves for some other purpose, or something else. Yeah, because it was just impossible to drink, really. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it interesting. If you're going through with me through this experience, it might kind of reassure you. So yeah, so I'll be sharing my journey with these 14 days with you every night. Probably every night, maybe through the day sometime, but I think it's better to do it at the end of the day, because I've kind of already gone through everything. drank all the juices and how I felt through, throughout the whole day. So yeah, so nothing much to report on hunger or anything else or detox wise yet, because it's obviously just the first day. And before the actually detox, which I kind of didn't quite do, before doing the juice cleanse, 4 days should be like really preparation, where you should be only eating plant-based whole foods, so kind of only organic veggies, fruits, nuts and seeds type of thing. I think for the day 4, 3, and then maybe day 2 and 1, I need to like reread it again. You need to kind of remove all like the nuts and vegetables and just stay with more kind of fruits and salads, that kind of thing. Just lighter things, and just drink plenty of water. So that's apparently the pre-juicing protocol. You kind of just simplify foods and take out all the animal foods, all the meats, dairy, everything like that, and even take out nuts. Because if you want to eat nuts in the 4 days, I think it's the fourth and third day, you can eat nuts, but you have to soak them like at least 8 hours, before you eat them, so you can have some nuts and seeds, but yeah, you need to soak them, I believe. So yeah, so just preparing your body. For me, because I'm eating whole plant based for most of my meals. Sometimes I cheat, obviously, have a little kind of cheat meal, as in like still vegan, still plant based, but maybe something not a bit naughtier. But 80% of my food is already whole food plant based, so I eat quite well anyway. So it wasn't quite hard for me. I didn't quite stick to it. I completely forgot that I needed to prepare for it. But for the last 3 days before that, I was kind of juicing in the morning and eating something like eating fruit for maybe until 3-4 o'clock, and then I would have one meal in the evening, or like early evening. So yeah, so I was actually doing quite well, to be fair. For the few days before. It's just the last night before I was gonna embark today. So last night I thought, you know what, the last day I can eat something. Then I bought a pack of crisps, and we split a little tub. Well, not wasn't a little, but like a tub of ice cream. We split it in half, and I had a big packet of crisps to myself. So that wasn't probably the best idea, because I kind of just completely forgot that I needed to prepare for this juice cleanse. But oh well, we're all human, we live and learn. So that's my experience today. So yeah, stay tuned for tomorrow, and it's actually a good way for me to keep accountable as well. So I know I'll have to come on, and if I didn't stick to juicing that day, or whatever, or cheated or wanted to eat something solid, then I would probably kind of feel a bit like under the pressure, because I would have to tell you about it, right? So so yeah, so you keep me accountable, and it just helps me as well, sharing my experience. So hope this has been helpful. Give me a thumbs up if it is, if you enjoyed it, if it's at least interesting, if you never came across juicing or parasite cleanse before. And yeah, I'll see you tomorrow night after day 2.